Hello, thank you for joining us.
I appreciate you guys having me. Lots to discuss.
Yes, indeed. First of all, do you think this is it for the Celtics in terms of moves, or what do you see on the horizon?
No, I don't think it's it. I think they're going to continue to listen. That Sham Sharani report is completely accurate about some of the teams that are making a push here for Derrick White or Jaylen Brown. Ultimately, are the Celtics going to trade one of those guys? I don't think so. I lean towards no. But at the same time, offers can get crazy. For Derrick White could fit on literally any team in the league. Jaylen Brown could put a team like a Houston over the top. San Antonio passed on KD. Maybe they want to go younger. There's, of course, other teams that could see incentive to go for Jaylen Brown too. So I think the offers are going to be something worth taking a meeting about for Brad Stevens in the front office. And I think the thing for fans to think about is, if you trade Jaylen Brown and you get more expiring contracts back, suddenly you are going to have near $100 million in cap space in 2026 and a ton of draft picks. So there's another path here that I'm sure the Boston front office is at least considering.
Yeah, and it makes the most sense, in my opinion. What do you think the return for Brown would be? Like, if you were Brad Stevens, what makes you start listening?
I would say more than what Memphis got for Desmond Bane, which was 4, first-round draft picks plus swap, but really one of the first was just a high-value one. And I think for Boston, it would have to be a lot of higher-value picks. If it's from Houston, you need those Phoenix first and 27 and 29 on top of some of the other more valuable first-round picks. I think that's the type of package you're looking for if you're the Celtics for Jaylen Brown. And ultimately, I tend to lean towards the side that if you're able to get something that's significant like that, it could be worth. I mean, Jaylen obviously has had an unbelievable career with the Celtics, but the benefit, there's very few benefits of a Tatum injury of that magnitude, but at least open this door for a soft reset that allows you to reset things this year, figure out who the young guys are moving forward, and then make a massive acquisition a year from now with cap space, absorbing a star that's available, signing a guy, and having a ton of picks. I think that's the formula for sustainable success in the NBA today. OKC has it with all their picks and youth, and I think Boston has a chance here to really find that middle that teams are going to have with picks and quality talent on the roster at the same time.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Would San Antonio be in the discussion today? They got the second pick in the draft. There's a big-time talent available with the second pick in the draft. I know the Celtics would be interested in that because you're getting a frontline guy.
Dylan Harper and 3 or 4 more first-round picks.
That's pretty good. But would San Antonio make that move? In that, is Brown at his current salary worth the possibility of getting Dylan Harper on a rookie deal?
I think from the Boston side of it, depending on what the other pieces are, it'd be worth it.
Sure, I know that, but I'm talking about San Antonio's side.
Yeah, for the San Antonio side, that's tough. I mean, I think for the Spurs, Dylan Harper, you probably don't trade for De'Aaron Fox if you know you're going to end up with Dylan Harper. And now they're in a situation where, you don't have to be some crazy expert to see having 3 guards that are average or worse shooters isn't ideal around Victor Wembanyama. And I think the Spurs acknowledge that within. It's just a matter of what path do they take and when do they shake things up in that backcourt between Castle, Fox, and Harper. And if they're going to trade that second pick tonight, it's going to be for some massive return and maybe getting a key player back in that as part of it. And think back to when they traded Kawhi Leonard. They didn't trade Kawhi Leonard for Jaylen Brown, who was younger and inexperienced at that time. They traded him for DeMar DeRozan, a more proven player. And so for the Spurs, I think when you're thinking about number 2 pick trades, I don't think it's going to be for 5 first-round picks in a trade down. I think it'd be for a proven player like Jaylen Brown. So I think it's logical that could be the type of thing they'd be looking for.
That would be exciting. Can you imagine tomorrow's show? If they traded for the second pick in the draft.
It'd be fantastic.
I mean, my goodness, you trade Devers and then you trade Brown.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a abundance of
Rare
riches.
summertime stuff.
I mean, this
before
would be
training camp.
fantastic.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'd
how
carry for a
exciting!
while.
All right, let's talk about Dylan Harper then. Let's play in this fantasy realm. I mean, regardless, he's going to be in the NBA. I know going into the season it was Flagg and Harper, and there was some debate. We had guys on that were saying that you look at Flagg, looks like he's a little bit better, but there could be some conversation. There's no conversation now, obviously. What do you know about Dylan Harper? How do you see him being in the league?
Well, I think Dylan Harper at a minimum is going to be a good NBA player because he's 6'5", lives in the paint. He shoots nearly 70% at the rim this past year at Rutgers. Great finisher with either hand. He's strong, but he has great footwork as well. In some ways, the way he drives, he looks like a bigger, stronger, taller Jaylen Brunson. The thing is, with Harper, can he shoot? Is the question with him. He's around a 75% guy from the free throw line, but he's never been a good shooter from three-point range off the catch, three-point range off the dribble, or from two-point range for that matter on pull-ups. Last year he shot 29% on pull-up twos. So the question with him is, will he ever become a good or great shooter? And obviously that's a necessity for him to become a star-level talent and not just a good point guard. And so I think with Harper, there's a high floor. He'll be a good two-way player. He's willing to play with and without the ball, but how effective he'll be from the perimeter is really just the big, big question for him at that second pick. And I think every guy after Flagg, there's one big question about them, whether it's Trey Johnson with his defense or Con Knippel, what level does he reach as a shooter off the dribble to match his shooting off the catch? Every guy is a question holding them back from being a true all-star, all-NBA level talent. With Dylan Harper, it's very clearly the shooting.
All right, so Kevin, obviously Cooper Flagg's the biggest story of the draft, but for my money, the second biggest is Ace Bailey.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to go third. That's where all the mocks had him for about 5 months, and then he kind of spun into a ditch. I'm not sure what's going on with him. The latest I read this morning is that Philadelphia is not taking him at 3, and he could slide a lot further than that.
Well, he hasn't met with any of the teams, right?
Yeah, that's the other part of it.
Yeah, hasn't met with any of the teams, hasn't worked out with anybody. He had a funny moment, two funny moments during his media day press conference yesterday where he's asked, why didn't you work out for the Sixers? And he says, I'm just focused on basketball.
Yeah. He was told to say that. It's like Marshawn Lynch, I'm just here so I won't get fined. He said that same thing over and over again for about 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, he says he gained 20 pounds of muscle since the end of the Rutgers season. It's like, I don't know, man. Some of this stuff doesn't seem real to me. So I think with NBA teams, you find out at the combine, he's officially only 6'7", not 6'10" as listed. He's not working out for anybody. He didn't interview well. And that's on top of the fact that what he does best, which is hit tough shots. You see the highlights with what he's able to do on pull-up jumpers and all that. He hits some crazy highlight play shots, but he's not very efficient at those looks. And he's not a passer, and he's not a great at-rim finisher, shot below around 44% on at-rim layup opportunities in the half court. So not a finisher, not efficient as a scorer, very space-head defender. He's very aloof on the defensive end of the floor. There's a lot to like with the idea of Ace Bailey, but there's not a lot of substance yet. And I think for NBA teams, that's why they're favoring some of the guys you can feel a little bit more confident about, and they still retain all-star upside.
Okay, what's his deal? What's the end game? I know that there were
so strange.
I know that he wanted to get into some kind of position. The talk with Ace Bailey, I'm aware, was he wanted a certain kind of fit, which is weird
but
because
he's costing himself millions of dollars.
Well, that's the thing is, I would think he would want money.
Exactly.
The fit would. That's future money, but is there can you see a logical reason why he's behaving this way?
No, not at all. I mean, because like you said, the drop off from 3 to 6 or 7 is a significant amount of money over the duration of a rookie scale contract. And so unless they just don't care about the money, which just doesn't seem realistic to me, they must feel some sense of confidence that Philly's going to trade down from 3 on draft night tonight. And Philly's been listening to offers, but nothing has met the threshold of being worth trading down from 3 to 6 or 3 to 7 or 3 to 8. And maybe it gets there. I mean, the Nets have 5 first-round draft picks. They have a 6th of the picks in tonight's draft. So maybe for Philly at 3, they do end up getting something that is worth it once they're on the clock tonight. And Ace Bailey does indeed go number 3, as Ace Bailey's camp has been continually saying that it's going to happen. So maybe they know something that we don't know. But at the same time, I think they're taking a significant risk, because wouldn't you go to Philadelphia and do a workout to increase the probability that he indeed would go there, so teams would have to trade up to 3 rather than just wait for him to fall to you at 6, 7, or 8? Just none of that makes any sense to me.
I just don't see, if you're not a premier prospect. I mean, obviously he's very talented. I knew who he was in high school. Like I'm still fascinated that both of them went to Rutgers. And they couldn't win even with them, but they were terrible. Believe me, I saw them. The whole maneuvering. I'm thinking from an agent perspective. Yeah, like you're just costing yourself commission. It's just very odd to me. All right, so here we are. Say the Celtics don't do anything and rob us all of the show tomorrow, and they stick late in the draft. Obviously,
rob you of the show. You don't want to talk about like Kalkbrenner at 28 or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know any of these people outside of
Great defensive player from Creighton.
I know Chase Richardson. That I know, and he'll go in the 20s. I question him coming out, but the Celtics are there late in the first round. Obviously, back down there, you can draft for need, and they need a big man. I'm looking. I don't know who any of these guys are. I can't recall them playing. I don't recognize the names.
Kalkbrenner was a 4-year starter, very good defensive player at Creighton. That's who he's talking about.
And Maxine Raymond from Stanford. I didn't see Stanford play. Did Stanford do anything last year? I don't recall them.
No.
Yeah,
but Rayno's an interesting player, though. Right. He's like, Olynyk-esque, a 7-footer, can do some stuff off the dribble, shoot off a movement. He's an interesting player. I think Stevens would like if he ends up at 28.
Okay, and so do you see anyone that could make any kind of impact? Like, they need rotational players. Could they get a guy late?
Could they package some of these picks and trade up?
Well, that's one question, but just and that's a good one. But follow up with that. But just, is there anyone at late in the first round that you could see is an obvious rotational piece?
I think for them, obviously you try to explore trading up. I just have a hard time finding the teams that they would trade up with, because so many teams in that kind of 15 to 22 range, that's their second first-round pick already. Would they want to trade down and get 28 and 32? I don't know. But at 28 and 32, I do think for Boston, in my current mock draft, I do Thiero, a 6'7" wing forward out of Arkansas, junior. He's one of the toughest, grittiest, most athletic players in the draft. He'll be a very good, versatile defensive player in the NBA. He had over 50 dunks last year at Arkansas, gets to the rim at will with a downhill, real aggressive attack. Is he going to become a shooter? That's the question with him. He's always been very streaky. Can the Celtics turn him into a consistent shooter, kind of like OKC has with Lou Dort? Dort entered the NBA with all those same positive qualities and the same questions about his shot, and then you see him taking moonball threes from the logo in Game 7 of the finals and shooting over 40% from 3 in the playoffs. So there's always a chance a guy can get better as a shooter. So with Thiero, I think he's this year's guy where he has all the qualities you want and a real high-level role player, and he can still have a successful career without a jumper, but the jumper would turn him into something really special as a player on a winning team.
So, Kevin, with you mentioning him and what you guys were saying earlier about the kid from Creighton who's a great defender, do you think teams are going to be looking more for these good defensive players if they're going to be hampered by what they can do by signing multiple premier offensive players to the same team? Will teams be looking for those defensive guys more so now than they used to, or does it end up being a wash because you don't have as many offensive guys on one team anymore?
I think it's a great question because, you see the costs of a quality rotation guy that can survive on defense. Like already this offseason, you're wondering, what's Luke Cornett going to get? And that's Luke Cornett. It's not like he's, an all-star level talent or anything like that. So I think for the NBA draft, having a guy who can contribute on their rookie scale contract, whether that's as a role player or whether that's as an all-star in the first 4 years of their career, that is so important more than ever now with the new collective bargaining agreement, with all the restrictions Boston's facing right now, having to trade Porzingis, having to trade Drew Holiday to get under the second apron, and still possibly continuing to make more trades involving Brown or White, more likely Brown. So I think for getting rookies that can contribute, that should be a priority for them if they indeed plan to get back to contending as soon as the 26-27 season and the 27-28 season. Because then you'd have guys that are making $2 million that are playing 25 minutes a game for you in the Eastern Conference Finals. So I think the Boston Celtics would lean more towards who are the guys that can help us in the more immediate future. And Kalkbrenner, Thiero, those are some of the guys that make sense in my mind. But, maybe they take a swing as well on someone raw. But late
Fat
first,
Melo.
second round, those
Give up on Draymond Green.
R.I.P. Fat Melo.
Stood in the middle of that 2-3 zone like nobody's business.
I still, it was one correct thing I've said. I said, you should have taken Draymond Green. I said it the day of the draft, before the draft. I said it after the draft. All right. Well, look, hopefully they trade Brown. Let's be honest. It's good for you. It's good for us. It's good for everyone. I think it's the right move, too, but we shall see. What an exciting day. It will break, of course, at 10 a.m., but there you go.
If you like that clip, check out more videos from Toucher and Hardy here. For more Celtics analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.